What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder. I'm Warren Thompson, and today we have some major Deadpool 3 news. And it looks like we know most of the main cast who is going to be in this movie. And we also have a good idea of what the plot is going to be, what cameos to expect, and how exactly Deadpool is going to be making his way over to the Marvel Cinematic Universe and who he plans on taking with him. And I have a theory on how exactly this is going to sort of fuse with Secret Wars and fall into place perfectly with the storyline. Now, we do have sort of a plot synopsis for Deadpool 3 that was shared by a Marvel actor. We'll jump into that in just a bit, but first, let's go over who the current cast is for Deadpool 3 because they just added some new members, one of which is an X-Men. And if you love Marvel and want to stay up to date, be sure to hit that subscribe button, and of course, we're doing a giveaway, and the winner gets the choice of a PS5, an Xbox Series X, some Marvel Legends gear, or some DC items as well. The winner gets to pick. Just subscribe and leave a comment down below. We pick a winner at the end of each month. So, like I mentioned, we have some new castings for Deadpool 3. One of which is an X-Men, and that's right, we are talking about Colossus. Stefan Kopikic is confirmed to be returning to play the role of Colossus, and also it has been confirmed as of today that Marina Bakarin is returning to play Vanessa, Deadpool's girlfriend. Now, with this, you have to remember that at the end of Deadpool 3, Deadpool did take Cable's time travel device after he fixed it and went back in time and changed a lot. This is going to heavily tie into Secret Wars, and the TVA is going to be on Deadpool about this in Deadpool 3. We'll talk about that in just a bit, but the main takeaway is that Vanessa is now alive. Deadpool went back in time and prevented her from dying. Well, from being murdered. He ends up killing that person first before she gets murdered, creating a new timeline, one in which she is now alive. Also, something that is going to play a big role in Deadpool 3 as well is the fact that he went back in time and essentially killed himself, possibly having some pretty big effects on other timelines as well. Now, he went back in time and communicated with Wolverine, and at the time that was just going to be a joke, but now they're going to weave this into the story of Deadpool 3, because right now, as far as we know, this is the cast so far. Ryan Reynolds, of course, playing Deadpool. Hugh Jackman, the man, returning to play Wolverine, the Wolverine, and some variants of Wolverine as well. He already confirmed this himself personally.
Thank you, Kevin Feige. Love you, Kevin Feige.
So we'll see some other Wolverines played by Hugh Jackman, and maybe some Wolverines that aren't played by Hugh Jackman. Perhaps Taron Egerton shows up for a cameo, just for fun, nothing serious, but maybe just for fun in a random universe that Deadpool and Wolverine visit. Then, of course, as I mentioned, we have Stefan Kopikic returning as Colossus, Marina Bakarin returning as Vanessa, and Karan Soni returning as Dopinder. He's a great character. Really glad he's returning. Also, Leslie Uggams is returning as Blind Al. So Deadpool's friends and sort of his family are going to be a part of Deadpool 3. Now, Matthew McFadden is also going to be a part of Deadpool 3. However, the role he is going to play has not been disclosed yet. It's also been confirmed that Emma Corrin is going to be joining the Deadpool 3 movie, and there are rumors going around right now that she could possibly be playing X-23. Now, take this with a huge grain of salt. I think these rumors are more just speculation at this point in time on who she could be playing, but I definitely think it would be pretty dang cool to see X-23 show up. However, if they are going to kind of take Wolverine away from the Logan timeline, I would also expect to see Daphne Keane show up, who played Laura Kinney, aka X-23, in Logan, and I think she did an incredible job. But remember, multiverse, Deadpool and Wolverine are going to be visiting a lot of different universes, and as far as we know so far, it's just going to be Deadpool and Wolverine visiting these other universes, not all of the other cast that was mentioned. And like I said, we do kind of have a little bit of a plot synopsis coming from a Marvel actor, Lewis Tan, who played Shatterstar in Deadpool 2 for a very brief moment, because as we know, he died pretty quickly. I mean, they all died pretty quickly. But again, Deadpool did go back and seemingly he stopped some of their deaths at least. So a Twitter account called Marvel Updates posted this. In Deadpool 3, Deadpool will use Cable's time travel machine to save Wolverine before his death in 2029, and they end up lost in the multiverse being pursued by Mobius. Well, Lewis Tan replied to this tweet with a bunch of emojis kind of hinting that, yeah, this is pretty much true, and this is actually what we pretty much assumed to be true in the first place anyways. Deadpool 3's post-credit scenes tie into the MCU, what they're doing with the multiverse saga so well, It's like they planned it before, which could be possible. After all, Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige said they usually have about 10 years planned for the MCU. He said what they have already announced, they have 6+ additional years planned for after that, so about a total of 10 years planned ahead. And at the time of Deadpool 2, that was kind of when the Fox Disney deal was happening, so perhaps they kind of planned that out, but maybe not. Maybe it's just a coincidence, and if it is, it's a great coincidence. So I'm assuming that Deadpool has this device, he changes things to make it to where his life is pretty much perfect. However, what is he missing? He's missing that one true best friend, Wolverine, who he's already come in contact with in the post-credits for Deadpool 2. So here's where my theory comes in. I assume that Deadpool is going to be trying to set up his perfect life. He's going to have his friends, he's going to have Vanessa, his girlfriend, right beside him. Then he's going to maybe get in close with the X-Men and then realize that he doesn't have his best friend, Wolverine. So he's going to leave whatever current timeline he set up that has everything that he wants in it, and he's going to go to the Logan timeline. And this is where he pretty much just takes him. However, at this point in time, Wolverine might kind of put up a fight. And during this battle, Deadpool might grab Wolverine and try to take him to a different timeline, but the time travel device gets damaged. This is how they end up getting lost in the multiverse. The time machine device could start malfunctioning, therefore giving Deadpool no control over it, because based off of what we saw in the post-credit for Deadpool 2, he definitely knew how to work the machine. So as far as them getting lost, it would make sense that the time travel device would get broken in some type of way. Not fully broken, because it's very clear that they still are going to be traveling different timelines throughout the multiverse, but broken enough to where he can't fully control where he is going. Now, when this happens, it is going to be just pure chaos. We know Deadpool. We know he doesn't really care about much. So that whole don't leave any trail in a new timeline, don't step on a butterfly because of the butterfly effect, etc., he probably doesn't care about that at all. In fact, we know he doesn't because he has already gone and messed with several timelines already. So Deadpool is going to continue to mess with essentially the entire multiverse, because we know that starting just a few new timelines, that could start an entire multiversal war. And obviously we do not want another multiversal war, and who is responsible for that? Well, the TVA. They're responsible for making sure that doesn't happen. And who is rumored to be in this movie? Mobius and Miss Minutes. So of course we would expect Mobius to be pursuing Deadpool as he goes around the multiverse, messing things up. And here's where the really cool part of Deadpool 3 comes in. Deadpool visiting these other universes, because we have reports already stating that the original X-Men characters, the original X-Men actors from the Fox X-Men trilogy, the first one, they're all going to be appearing in Deadpool 3. There's also been a report that the original Fantastic Four are going to be appearing in Deadpool 3 as well, with Jessica Alba. And I will absolutely lose my mind when this happens. Now, however, here is where I think the actual plot will differ a little bit from what was posted. I'm not sure about Wolverine being taken from the Logan timeline. Hugh Jackman already stated that they aren't going to undo the death of Logan. So either one of two things is going to happen. One is that they simply take Wolverine from a different timeline. That way they truly don't undo the death of Logan by taking him away from that timeline. Or two, they take him away from that timeline and then ultimately end up returning him to that timeline where he will eventually go on to die. But here's the deal. I think all of these other X-Men characters that we're going to be seeing in Deadpool 3 are making their way over to the MCU. We basically know that Deadpool 3 is going to end with him in the MCU. But there have been many reports that state the original X-Men characters and Fantastic Four possibly as well are indeed going to be in Secret Wars. And this just makes sense. Secret Wars is essentially going to be like Deadpool. We're going to explore many different universes, and many different heroes from these universes are going to come together to fight Kang. And of course, the X-Men are going to be a part of that. However, these are not going to be new X-Men characters entering the MCU. They're going to be the old X-Men characters. We know that the new X-Men aren't coming to the MCU till after the multiverse saga. In fact, the next saga is probably going to be the Mutant Saga. So I don't think they're going to take Hugh Jackman's Wolverine from the Logan timeline and then return him. I think they're going to get him from a different timeline, and Deadpool's going to drag him to the MCU so he can take part in Secret Wars. The only question is, at this point in time, is who else is going to be going with him? Is Vanessa going with him? Is Dopinder going with him? Or are they only going to be in the beginning of this movie where Deadpool has everything that he wants and then he leaves to go get Wolverine, and the rest of the movie is him and Wolverine jumping universes until they eventually make their way into the MCU, and that's where they stay. This probably is the case, but for the sake of Deadpool kind of getting a happy ending here, perhaps he makes his way to the MCU at some point in time during Deadpool 3 and decides that that is where he wants to be. Well, then he could go back to his original universe, or I should say the new one that he's kind of created for himself with all of his loved ones, and take them into the MCU. That way, Deadpool kind of gets everything that he wants. He gets his loved ones, he gets Vanessa, and he gets Wolverine, all in the universe that he wants to be a part of, the universe with the Avengers. Also the universe, or at least a universe close to the one that Loki, who is a part of the TVA now kind of, got taken from. So Mobius might allow him to actually stay in our main MCU timeline because they're gonna need him to fight Kang. So this is how I think Deadpool and Wolverine make their way to the MCU. But go ahead and let me know your thoughts about that in the comments down below. Please don't forget to like the video and of course subscribe to stay up to date on the MCU and to enter our giveaway. You can always follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.